if something's oblique,
Look up ribs.
oftentimes it's drawn in the side view as if it came straight down, for clarity's sake. Okay, it's easier to understand the dimensions right here if you drew it as if this part were straight down. Okay, but in reality, the part is at that angle, so you have that angle there, so you know what's going on. You'll see this in situations like, okay, right here, you have, you know, all these different holes, and you're gonna cut through them. Instead of showing them in reality how they would really be hidden behind something, you just show them one on the bottom, one on the top. And then you can refer, you know, it shows you the distance from center, and then it gives you the dimensions of the object, of the feature that itself, that you can refer to its location from the front view. You'll see that a lot, like, okay, let's say you had a part like this, and you had like a whole bunch of holes all the way around it, right? And then let's say the side view, and I'm not talking about a section view, just regular side view, you would have so many hidden lines that it would be utterly confusing. They'd be on top of each other. So instead of doing that, you know, you might show that, like, if we make this center hole bigger, say it's something like a wheel or something. You would show the center hole, and then the location of one of the top holes and one of the bottom holes. And that's it, instead of having all them hidden lines all over the place. Because you can come back here and see how many they are and what the spacing is. And that kind of leads yourself to this theory right here. And these are placed. Yeah. Partial views. I mean, maybe we'll get into that later. I know we'll get into it. With partial views, if something's symmetrical, you don't have to draw the whole thing. It's a time saver, which is huge. And it's just a space saver. What am I doing here? Okay, so instead of drawing the whole front view, you can just, you know, put half of it in. Again, I don't think that's something that's really going to come up a big deal in this class because the software doesn't readily lend itself to do that. Okay, that gets into assemblies and whatnot. So let's look at the assignment. So we have these two objects, and you've already made one, or three objects, and you've already made one of them. No, you made two of them. You already did two of them. So that much helps. Okay. Let me pop this out. We got the third one. This is a fun one to draw. Model. Okay, so we want, let's see, do I have these anywhere? Let me look. I'll pull up this better. Remember, I had a hard time downloading objects out of my cloud last time we tried this.
Just open up any of our homework stuff and we'll
I'm not digging on homework because I don't want people looking at people's names and seeing whether or not they did it well or not.
whatever, you can put mine in there, I don't care.
truck wheel. I got the truck wheel in there. Truck. I want to open the truck wheel. Okay, what was this one? Special bearing. Tensioning the bearing up. That's what these does. Why can't you open that? It's probably just drag it. Cloud file provider is not running. I'm gonna have to get a hold of old IT. We'll just use bearing for example. Okay, so let's say we're going to do this one, and one of them is to be a full section, right? Okay. Now let's see, where's my assignment? Where's my homework assignment? Okay, so this is a full section. So we'll do new sheet, just English or metric. English, strong sheet, answer. And let's sheet, we're doing A size sheet. Let's get rid of that big old title block. Put a new one in there, just a regular NCA. Alright, so pull in the base. I want to rotate that. Make it, this is going to be my front view. Alright, now let's center marks. When you put in center marks on something like this, you want to do first off, we've got just like a basic center mark we can put for the front of it. And then we want to do a centered pattern. So let me get rid of that center mark. I'm just going to do the centered pattern. And for a centered pattern, you pick the center axis point, and then you pick the center marks around it. It will place that hole. It'll place the bolt circle center line.
Okay.
This scale is wrong. That's way too small. Let me look at that. Edit view. Yeah, put it in a half scale. I'm gonna put it in a full scale. It's gonna be tight, just for this particular situation. Well, maybe not full scale. Let me edit that. Let's go 3/4 scale. They don't have 3/4 scale, but I can type it in. Now, we want to do a full section of it. To do a full section, you go to place views, and we're going to go up here to section view. And I want to mouse up to the cutting plane line. This is important. The cutting plane line is outside of the object. Don't put the cutting plane line on the object or inside the object. Outside of the object. Okay? And you want to make sure that you've got that lined up so that it shoots through the center. So there'll be a little dotted line there. So you wanna go about an 1/8 inch out, and then come about 1/8 inch down here. And then continue, and then once you pull this over to the right, you'll get your section view. Then you can put in, some center lines. This center line command right here, it's a center line bisector, so you pick the lines between where you want that center line. So you want one there and there, and here. Okay. So that's for a full section. Now for this part here, you want, let's see, what's the instructions say? Half section for the truck wheel. Okay. Well, I don't have a truck wheel here, but I'll just use this one. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so we're gonna go to section, and then we're gonna make sure we got the view active. And for the half section, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come out side of the line here, because I want it, for a half section, you're removing a quarter of the object. It seems weird, because you're only taking a quarter of it away, but in the section view, it's half. Okay, so we'll come out here and start my line there, go to the center point, and then come out here and go a little bit beyond the object, then right click, hit continue, and when I pull it out, I've got a half section.
Okay.
Now you see it put down there section BB, that's because I already put one section in there and I got rid of it. If you have this, and you don't remove it, don't have it on top of the title bar. Move it, get it out of there. Okay. You can just, let's see here. You can move it up. You can move everything up, I guess. Or you can get rid of it. Let's see here. Edit the view. Where is that? Model, display options. Chain brake, that's not there. I don't see it, I don't see it. Identifier, we can get rid of the identifier there. I want us to put something in there. Okay, right here. Now, somewhere there's a way to get rid of that label. Oh, here we go, this little light bulb. Turn that off. Now get rid of that gets rid of it. On this letter B, we could probably delete that. Yeah. I don't want to delete the view. I just want to delete the letter. It's annoying me. No, I don't want to delete the V. Hold on, let's take a look at this. Let's view. Identifier, view line. Add view label. I don't think that does anything. We'll just live with that for now. I think I probably have it in my video. Anyway, now here we have this problem here with this not being a center line, which it should be. What we can do is we can turn the visibility off on this line. And you have to do it in pieces. Right click and turn off visibility. And then we can put a center mark in there. Over here. And here and here. And then come in and drag that. Like so. That's how that should properly look with a center mark going through it instead of a line. I haven't to figure out how to get around that in SolidWorks yet. Over here. Okay, now on the line section. Let me alter the original model real quick. Just gonna get out of here. Back off all this. Go back to the original model. Let's see. Edit. Particular pattern. Let's do. Let's do 3 of them. There we go. Okay, so let's say this is how it is, which is, you know, a situation in front of the line. What we want to do is show the holes. So that's going to be our line section. So let's place this guy in. Now, one thing I'm going to do is if I'm going to do a line section, I'm going to want this to line up so that hole's on top. Okay. So I'll play with it here until I get it right there.
Is that the only way to do that?
Yeah. It's the easiest way to do it. Okay, so now I want to put my marks back in there. And then for an aligned section, activate the view, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here above the object. I'm going to go to center, and then I'm going to come down till I go through that center right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right click, and then hit continue and drag it. You can see it gives me a proper aligned view, section view. Okay, SolidWorks is pretty similar. I hope I can get a model up on SolidWorks for this to show you. Will this open? There you go, I got one right there. Okay. What is this thing? This is metric, I believe. I'm pretty sure it is.
It's down on the right, it is.
Hmm?
Right there, MMGS at the bottom.
Forget about that thing down there. Okay, escape. Okay, so let's bring this thing in. And I'm not feeling great about this view here. Let's look. There we go. And a scale.
Is there a way to be able to see what it's going to do before you place it?
What do you mean?
I mean, because you changed kind of what you wanted to do with the view, right? But before you place it, you can't really see what it's gonna do.
I hope that scale, let's go. Full scale, that's better, okay. Alright. Okay, so now SolidWorks puts all these center marks in there for you, which is nice. Right. We're gonna do a section view, full section. Right here. Now, under SolidWorks, everything's right here. They give you different versions of doing a cutting line. You can do a vertical, you can do a horizontal, okay? You can do auxiliary, you can do a line, and then if you're doing a half section, you gotta go over this other, you got a whole other thing for a half section. So we're gonna do, with a full section, we're gonna do the vertical, and then they show you this little section lines there, and you just pick your center point, say okay, and then drag it over. Okay, section view. Then you can add your center marks, center lines here. Let's go. Come on, move it. Not you. I'll have to delete this view. Okay, half section. So section view, for half section, I have to go to this tab over here. Click on half section, and there's different ways to do it. We're gonna go with this one here, the, say bottom side left. Let's go bottom side top. And it kind of shows you a little cutting plane line, you just pop it on there.
Oh.
Okay. Now, they give you this business right here with the arrowhead. Don't worry about that. That's some sort of ISO stuff. That's fine. Technically, though, the cutting plane line comes down here and goes like that. It shows you that. See, they try to put the center line in there, but for some reason they got that line there. I don't know what that's about. And then the align section. For an aligned section, the section view, and right here is the option for an aligned section. You come in and you pick the center mark, and then you come up to show where you want this edge to be, and then you come and you pick, say, whichever one you want to cut through. I'll cut through this one. Say okay. It's doing weird stuff. I'm going to flip that direction there. There we go. And there's my section view. My line section. And there's more detailed descriptions of the stuff than the Solid Professor really is. That should get you up and running. The only one that you're going to have to model.
That last one, that third one.
Third one, yeah. Which, hey, just be aware, there's a groove cut in there, and these are countersinks. These are not counterboards, they're countersinks. Okay. All right, any questions? All right. Jeremy, do you have your laptop with you?
Yes, sir.
Take a look at what you got going on.